So as we wrap up the month of March, I can hardly believe it. I just want to recap a few things and then just get into today's video. This month's theme was spring clean, just because it's the springtime and some people tend to clean more this time of year, maybe do a deep clean. So I talked about toxins in my first video, and then I talked about different cleaning products and the dangers there. I also mentioned minimalism because this is a great time to do some decluttering and some organizing. And today's video, I'm just going to kind of cover a few miscellaneous things that didn't really fall into a category and just encourage you because I know that this process can seem daunting and overwhelming and a little bit lonely. So I am here for you. If you're watching my video for the first time, my name is Adrienne, and I love to talk about all things toxin-free. I just want to remind you that you need to have some kind of game plan. You need to get yourself some kind of plan in the works, because a dream without a plan is only a wish, right? So you want to decide where you're going to start. Are you going to start room by room? Is that too overwhelming? Are you going to just pick one area? Do you want to knock it all out in a weekend? Get a whole room done in a weekend? Is that too much? Each person has their own kind of personality and flair and how they like to tackle things. So I can't really give you a step-by-step per se, but I can give you some ideas. For me, I started in our kitchen under the sink at all our cleaners, and I started looking there. And then I started to discover different ingredients. And then that made me start to question about our personal care products, like the things that we were using in the shower and the lotions and the perfumes. And it just kind of all spun from there. It doesn't really matter where you start. It just matters that you start and that you start the process. And yes, it may take you a while to go through everything in your home that you've been using for possibly decades. That's okay. Maybe it's too overwhelming and you just want to tackle one room a week or one room a month. Even small little changes that you make can be helpful. If you are overwhelmed and would like some ideas or some encouragement or some steps that you can take, I do have a toxin-free workbook that I created that kind of walks you through the process and gives you a place to jot down your ideas and your findings and just more information about toxins and what toxin-free living looks like. So I will drop the link for that in the description of my toxin-free workbook, and you can check that out on Etsy. And I hope that that also blesses and encourages you. So I just want to encourage you to take small steps and changes, however that looks for you. We really focused on our cleaners first, just because that was at my frame of mind for whatever reason. I worked in a daycare for a few years, so I know what we did there with the baby's toys, and it just kind of got me thinking, as we were about to have a baby, how that kind of would look like in our house. So that's where we started. You don't have to start there. You could maybe start with getting rid of all your candles in your house. Maybe that's where you want to start. Or maybe you want to look at the things that you use in your shower, your lotions and those kinds of things. There's lots of different places to start, but we all have kind of the same vision, and it's eliminating as many toxins as possible to just create the best environment for you and your family, right? So small changes make a big impact over time. I also want to encourage you to write it down in your calendar. I've talked about before making sure that you do the major things first. I've read books and done different classes on that. They call it big rocks. Make sure you have all your big rocks in place, and then this would be like a small rock. It's not going to take precedent over church or family time or anything like that, but little pockets that you have in your day. Maybe you want to grab a product that you know you use often and check out the ingredients. What do they look like? What are they doing to you? Are they creating potential harmful side effects in your body? Are they causing respiratory distress? There's lots of things that many people use often, and unfortunately the ingredients are harming them and their families. So write it down in your calendar. Maybe every Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock, you're going to grab one product and just look up all the ingredients. A great place to start is online is ewg.org. That stands for Environmental Working Group. They have tons of information on toxins and things to avoid. You could choose to tackle a whole room on a weekend. Maybe you want to do that. Whatever it is, just make a plan and stick with it. but also give yourself grace, because there's going to be times where things just don't work out, right? And you just, life happens, and you don't want to beat yourself up so much that you take some steps backwards. So just do what you can when you can, and small changes are going to make a big difference. But I do want to warn you, once you start this process of swapping products and eliminating, it's probably going to become a big part of your life. I started with cleaners, like I said, and then I went to personal care, and then I went to air fresheners, and eventually I even went to organizing my digital life, and I have all these different folders for organization of what where I have my files. So this decluttering, toxin-free organization piece can become a large portion of your life, which is not a bad thing. It's just a different lifestyle habit that I now have that is second nature. I don't think about it because I've done it so many times now. It's just become a part of my life. I don't buy new products without looking at the ingredients and doing some research to see if they're going to be beneficial. I don't bring things into my home that I know are going to harm us on the regular, right? We used to love candles. I had a surplus of candles everywhere. And then once I started doing some research and the fire hazard warnings and such, I just started thinking, maybe this is the best thing for us. And we have now replaced all of our candles with diffusers and essential oils, which has been a blessing on many levels. We can use it for helping with emotions and moods, and you can customize the scent for whatever your particular flavor is for that day. So there's lots of perks, but I do remember how overwhelming it was. I do know what to look for now, so the process is much easier. Like I've talked about before, if you just stick with the process, it will become easier. It's just like learning any new skill. It's very hard. It's kind of scary in the beginning. You might not know what to do. You might feel like you're going to do the wrong thing. You're going to make some mistakes, and that's totally fine. Everything will get right. Everything will be fine in the end. You will work through it, and you will come out that much better at the end of this process. And it is a lifelong process. I am still learning things, even a decade later, of things that I thought were okay that maybe we need to re-examine a little bit. It's just not as daunting as starting all over and starting from scratch. So it is very freeing to go through a process where you are decluttering and organizing and really analyzing what you have in your home and why you have it in your home. So I would definitely encourage you to make some kind of plan, even if it's just to casually pick up a product or two once a week and look up the ingredients. If you're anything like me, you might be shocked, surprised at what you find, and you might want to look for an alternative. And if you would like some more information on that, just drop other options in the comments and I can get you some more information. I hope that these videos have inspired you and empowered you and given you some value, applicable ways that you can make small changes for the better in your homes.